Hello, folks, and welcome to this particular episode on YouTube for the political Napalm. I do apologize greatly for my absence over the last couple months, especially considering an election happened and, of course, the worst possible outcome happened here in the United States, with so many swing states going red at the federal level and Donald Trump winning, despite the fact that down at the state level, there were many Democratic gains. The news cycle has been fast and furious. It has been extremely tough to keep up with and think about a video where 10 seconds after you think about a video, something more comes along that is newsworthy. And of course, when you see the memes of, gee, I wish I could go back to waking up every day and not wondering what crazy crap is going to happen today, meaning a reference to the rather tameness of the Biden administration compared to this first month with Trump in power. Part of the reason why I haven't done a YouTube video in a little bit is, unfortunately, the last video that I did actually got taken down by YouTube. And the reason why it got taken down by YouTube is because I was roasting one certain Michael Flynn for some of his idiotic conspiracies and beliefs, and I happened to mention one of them. The one that I mentioned was in relation to the you-know-what that happened in 2020 and his stance on the response to it. Well, clearly it was misinformation, it was disinformation, it was QAnon levels of crap and bogus bunk theories that he had believed in. And when I had to quote him on it and attack him on it, YouTube believed that I was spreading disinformation and took the video down and actually gave me a strike on the channel. I fought it twice, saying when somebody says something idiotic and stupid and portrays misinformation or disinformation, and you attack them for it, you are not for it. You are not pro the stance that they have. You are con. You are against it. You oppose it. Yet, YouTube kept the video down and kept the strike there. And when I appealed it through chat and actually spoke with somebody and I said to that person, I need a human to go through the video and understand that I am attacking that stance, that belief, and saying that it is garbage, you have to say the thing that you were attacking. That is what reporting and journalism is. You have to call it out. And this wasn't even something that you could make a euphemism for, like somebody who isn't on this world in this world anymore, and you say they unalive themselves because you don't want to say the word. I had to call it out as he quoted it, and then I attacked it, and YouTube kept the video down and never didn't respond to my claims in a positive manner. As a matter of fact, when I opened the ticket, it sat and sat and sat and sat, and I didn't hear anything, and I went manually to the YouTube chat support, and I still couldn't get them to fix it. So that was extremely disheartening, and out of a little bit of a mental protest, I wasn't producing videos because I was extremely upset and angry with YouTube over it, because, sorry to use this language, it is complete bullshit, and I don't think it was evaluated by somebody who was paying attention properly. So, let us start off with the theme of this particular video, and that is, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. The right has been telling you who they are for a very long time, and some people out there don't want to believe it. They want to hand wave it away every time it happens. They want to poo-poo it and say the other side is overreacting, it's not true, and all these other things. How many more times does it need to happen to people's faces before people stop hand waving it and actually get on board with it? There's a The majority of us know there's gaslighting going on from the right when they defend this stuff. When they look at the Elon one down at the bottom and they say, oh, he's awkward, he's nervous, he has autism, he takes ketamine for depression, so he doesn't truly know what he's doing. When you see it side by side with the enemies of World War II doing the exact same thing, it certainly lines up, and it was identical. Steve Bannon just did it yesterday, and here is the thing. Here is one of the reasons why I say when they're showing you what they are, believe them. You saw the absolute fire that was lit when Elon did that down there, and how the news of that was everywhere, whether it was negative news against him from doing it, which was the majority, whether it was positive news supporting him, saying that's not what he did, he's waving. And look, here's Taylor Swift doing it. Is she this thing too? Whether it was spin or not, many people got embroiled in it. Millions of people heard about it and had some kind of an opinion on it. You would think that would be a hotbed item, a hot topic button. Don't go near it, don't touch it. And yet, look at CPAC yesterday. There's Steve Bannon doing it, and the guy up top whose name I'm not exactly too sure who it is. I hadn't seen that one happen until I was looking for a particular picture, which was the Steve Bannon one. The Steve Bannon one I saw, to give you the context, the video is out there. You can watch the video on it. What he's saying at the time very clearly shows he's not waving. It's not a wave. There's not that many people to that side of him. The CPAC attendance was very sparse. The audience is just dotted all over the place. It does encircle that portion of the stage where he is. There was a sitting area of the stage which is very flat and in the back, and there's no audience on the sides of it. The podium is on sort of a pier, like a jutted out portion of the stage where the audience does wrap around it. But that, what he did when you see it in the video context, is not a wave. Simply look on YouTube, go anywhere in social media, and you can find the video. And when you listen to what he's saying, right beforehand, it's fight, 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 which of course was lifted from the thing in the summer in Pennsylvania, which I'm not even going to comment on. The context is there. I'm telling you, I'm not taking this out of context. And I'm not even going to provide the context for you. Look it up yourself. You can very clearly see the wave. Now, the top one, I don't know about. And the top one isn't nearly as neat as the other two. So the top one, I don't know who it is. I don't know the context. I'm not going to say he's doing what the other two are doing. It is possible. Check that one out yourself. Admittedly, I don't know it. But look at everything else they have been doing for years. Michael Flynn stood with his family at a summer barbecue and made them basically cycle through the QAnon oath. It is for some time now believed that Michael Flynn is actually Q. There was a period of time where they thought it was the Watkins father and son duo because of 8chan and things like that. That is, of course, a possibility. But Michael Flynn knows a lot about PSYOPs, so there is a belief that he is a major force behind QAnon, if not actually Q himself. Obama famously warned Trump not to trust Michael Flynn. And I think this we are fortunately lucky as a nation that we don't have Michael Flynn in a position of power right now. It's terrible that Tuliksana Gabardova is, and that RFK Jr. is, And a Sean Duffy from the real world he's spinning out of control right now. Hesketh, Kash Patel, and his crazy eyes. He's another QAnon idiot. We have a lot of very, very dangerous people atop the United States right now. In all of that, we are extremely fortunate that Michael Flynn doesn't have a position, because he was one of those martial law types during the 2020 election, and it would be very, very dangerous if he ever got a position of power. That is one of the reasons why, and that is one of the reasons why this video has largely been scrubbed from the net. It's very, very hard to find this video and pictures from it at this point in time. When you see this one, if you can actually find it, the context is he's not even speaking at the time this happens. He's not saying, okay. The thing that he's responding to, which I believe it's Steve Bannon who's talking, he's not saying okay to what Steve says. It was not actually a time in which Michael Flynn should be responding in any way, shape, or form. He was simply in a mode where he should have been listening to that homeless idiot Bannon, but instead he did that. Generally, when you flash okay to somebody, your fingers are far tighter than that. That spread is definitely the W in white power. And of all people, it's not hard to believe that Michael Flynn knew exactly what he was doing and did it on purpose, especially when you see this. There's Bannon doing something horrendous. It's a real tough thing to think that Flynn would be. So aside from what Flynn and Bannon and Musk have been doing with symbols that we can sit here and argue about and debate and say, oh, when is the OK symbol bad? I mean, really? And do you honestly think this dude is Q or part of QAnon? Well, he's reciting the QAnon oath, and he is one of those where we go one, we go all types. Fortunately, Flynn's popularity has been plummeting a lot over the recent, I'd say, 2 years, and even the right wing and Trumpers aren't that crazy about Flynn anymore. I've seen a lot of dissension in the Trumper ranks where they are beginning to believe Flynn is not to be trusted. And actually, Lindell is another one. I've seen a lot of distaste in people's mouth when it comes to Lindell. They believe not only he's easily duped, which is actually very true, but they don't think Lindell is actually good for Trump. They believe he is not exactly a plant, but working in Trump's not better interest. And it's crazy to watch these pillars fall apart for Trump on social media, because Flynn and Lindell were huge ones around the time of all the quote-unquote election fraud. To see those pillars stripped away is unbelievable, because you would think it would be Rudy and Sidney and Lindell and Flynn, and let's not forget about Lynn Wood. The lady lawyer who got farted on, who's Jenna Ellis. They were all pillars of Trump post 2020 election, and nobody really ever turned on Rudy. Jenna kind of saw herself out the door a little bit for a lot of things, but the Trumper community turned on Flynn and Lindell. But when I say listen to them when they tell you who they are, Senate Republicans put healthcare on the chopping block to fund Trump's billionaire tax handouts. So let's be clear about something here in case you don't know about it. There was an amendment to the spending bill that was single target, single focus, single issue. That amendment was, if Republicans will promise not to touch so much as even $1 of Medicare, We will not go after the millionaire class, okay? Making $10 million and over in the United States is just amazing. Absolutely amazing to have that level of income in a given year. So that's a pretty high bar. It's not millionaire class, not 5 million, 1 million, 2. They started at 10. They said, we will not tax people at $10 million and over. We will not introduce extra taxes on that level of income if you promise not to touch Medicare. Republicans said nope. Then they upped it to 10 million. Or excuse me, they upped it to 100 million. No. And then they went up to 500 million. No. And the amendment failed 51 to 49 with two Republicans, Hawley and somebody else, joining the Democrats. But every Democrat lost that one, and every Republican -2. Oh, here it is. Democrats unanimously voted yes to the amendment, joined by Collins and Hawley, which is surprising. Other Republicans voted no, and it lost by 2 votes. Look at this. Just don't even touch $1 of Medicare and Medicaid, and we will not go after the ruling class, so to speak, that Biden had originally said, this is where we need to raise taxes. We need to raise it on corporations and the millionaire class so that they pay their way properly and take some of the heat off of lower income families and the middle class families. Republicans couldn't do that, minus Hawley and Collins. So when I say listen to people when they tell you who they are telling you who they are. Listen to them. Stop making excuses. Pay attention. Go back and look at the year that CPAC was held on a stage in the exact same shape of the Odell rune. All of these as isolated incidents in a vacuum, maybe you can say, I don't think it was that. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe there was a logistical thing for it. When you look at an Odell rune and you look at that CPAC stage, the only thing that would be valid in that gap area, the hollow part of the diamond of the rune, is a mosh pit. And let me tell you, there's not going to be a mosh pit or an MTV VMA Video Music Awards dance pit in the center of a diamond of a CPAC stage. I don't care if Getz is there or not. It's not happening. The after party, that's different. We've seen that. We've seen what Charlie Kirk and Matt Getz have done in those regards, but not in the middle of CPAC. And the last thing that should be noted over here is even Dr. Seuss knew about this way back when. He knew what America First was going to mean, and America First was going to mean, and America First was going to mean. So to close out this particular video, again, I'm going to reiterate, when they tell you who they are, start listening and don't get gaslit into believing anything else other than what you are collectively putting together as 2 + 2, based on what you're seeing, based on what you're hearing, based on what you're seeing with your own eyes and watching and listening on these videos. Stop getting gaslit. Realize exactly what all of these things add up to. Thank you for watching the video.